WWE spared no expense for Raw 1000. But on the real, y'all, Raw 1100 was probably their best to date. Guys, I have never been so happy in my life when it came to this opener of Raw. There wasn't a moment on this show, except for one area, or maybe two areas, that made me disinterested watching. I have not been so excited about Money in the Bank. I had my reservations about it, especially how they had the qualifier and how, how they had the qualifier for the title. But then I'm thinking, okay, this may be a welcome change. It's going to be something that's completely different, and it may not be that bad. So I kind of let it slide. Then I ended up finding out about the contract match. Now, the one thing that bothers me about the contract match is that it, it, it was the way it was done. That's just one thing that it bothered me. It was just the way it was done. Yeah, they've always chose their opponents to go in the Money in the Bank ladder match. That's something they've always done. It's a given. But the people they chose, good grief. It's like wash, rinse, and repeat. Why Jack Swagger? Jack Swagger has been like literally doing a 360 degree of suck for almost what, several months now. There has been nothing interesting about Jack Swagger's character ever since Cesaro left the Real Americans. He is lame. There's his character is lame. I'm not saying the person is lame, but his character is lame. The people that they picked this time, Del Rio, come on. It's like the people that they actually did pick for these Money in the Bank ladder matches. I'm like wondering what is going through their head. That's why I wish it was a freaking free for all. At least we'll be a little bit more interested in seeing different people. But the people that they chose is just something that I'm still scratching my head about. Why? You know? But I don't know. All I know is that it should be interesting, and I'm just gonna give it maybe a second chance and not poo-poo it so much. But I will say that in the middle of it, all the matches were really interesting to watch. Even when Kofi Kingston lost, I still enjoyed that match. And I absolutely positively enjoy anything with Wade Barrett in it. Seriously. And knowing that Wade Barrett is in the Money in the Bank ladder match makes me really, really happy. Is it going to win? I doubt it. But either or, it's Wade freaking Barrett. Bad news Barrett. Don't care. But honestly, y'all, there wasn't a match that I did not like. And the match that really got me crunk was the match that was introduced in the opener. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Vickie Guerrero versus Stephanie McMahon. Yeah, it fell flat towards the middle of the ring. We both know that these two can't fight. We both know they suck at it. Stephanie is okay. She actually had an opportunity to fight in the ring during her younger days when she was in her 20s. But we know now, we kind of, some people made the assumption that, that she wasn't going to go out there and do it. But I honestly thought that she was going to pull like something that her dad did way back in the day, and she was actually going to wrestle. It would have been nice to actually see her wrestle. But we end up seeing some, I don't know what that sludge was, but all I know is that it was like a wrestling in the mud kind of match. But even though Vickie is gone, she went out like a true Guerrero, and a lot of people said that on Twitter. I'm gonna keep it real. She went out like a Guerrero. I liked the way that she went out. And the fact that Stephanie got all in that muck and got dirty really shows me that Stephanie is trying to lighten up a bit. She's trying to have a bit of fun like her dad did. She's definitely going back to the days of old when Vince McMahon will always put himself in these situations to where he can either embarrass himself or get crap spilled on him or something like that, just to make it a little bit more fun. And I'm noticing that Stephanie's starting to do that a lot more, which is something I am enjoying. And I really do appreciate her for that because she's always been a really great heel, but it's nice to actually see her fun side. So I'm all for that. And I really give props to Stephanie for the intro, for the opening of the show. Her and Vickie Guerrero. That was probably one of the best diva promos I've seen in a very long time. Seriously, it was awesome. I enjoyed that a lot. It makes me sad that Vickie is gone, but I'm happy that she is because she's been wanting to get out of her contract for many years now. And they finally let her go, But if she's not complete, I don't know whether or not she's completely gone. I'm gonna have to look that up. But I hope that she is, because she should spend her time off and enjoy life and just separate herself from the business. Whether it's really happening, I don't know. Whether it's a work, I have no idea. That's something I'm gonna have to look up. But I'm hoping that it is true and that she's done. But let's move on from there. Finally, Paige has got a feud. Like, I have been begging for this for a long time, but it's with the wrong chick. I honestly thought she would have more of a feud with Naomi than with Cameron. And I'm like, what can Cameron offer? Nothing. Like, I like Cameron. She's a great talker. She can talk up a storm. Her performance is mediocre at best, but she's getting better at it. But I don't really consider her feuding with the Divas champion. I know she's going to be feuding with Naomi, and I would love to see those two go at it. Seriously. Because she's going to screw her. Like, she's going to screw her royally at Money in the Bank. That's something that's expected. We're expecting the Funkadactyls to break up. And it's about freaking time, because Naomi really needs to go out on her own. And Cameron is just, she needs work. But she has improvement. She has improved a bit, but she still needs work. But now she's feuding with Paige, and I'm like, I guess, I don't know. I really would rather her feud with Naomi than her feud with Paige, than her feud with Cameron. That's just me. But let's move on from there. The main event was a 6-man tag match. Before I get to the main event, the one thing that kind of made me laugh was the really cheap entrance song. That sounded like somebody who couldn't play the harmonica. No, it sounded like somebody's 12-year-old trying to play the harmonica. And I'm talking about the entrance music for Rowan and Harper. I was like, that was the cheapest, most generic, like somebody's 12-year-old recorded that at the last minute. But honestly, in a strange way, it fits. It fits so well. And I'm happy they got their own entrance music like that. But on the real, it was hilarious. But the one thing that I didn't get, it was like, okay, they came in, they beat the Usos. Then they got re-invited back into the ring for the Usos to win. And then after the Usos won, they beat them down. Why didn't you just have them win twice? Seriously, why didn't you just have the Wyatts win twice? It would just make sense. I'm sorry. Rowan and Harper should have just won twice and kept it moving. But then they went on this back and forth, and that just drove me nuts. And another thing that drove me nuts was how people kept being added in the Money in the Bank matches, which completely negates the qualifying matches itself. Why on earth are you going to add Kane in the last minute to be the 8th guy in the Money in the Bank match for the championship? Why? I mean, okay, I can let it slide for Dean Ambrose because it's a contract match. I can let that slide because honestly, back in the day, that's what they did. They declared that they were going to be in a contract match. All they did was declare, and they were in it. So I'll let that slide for the contract match. But for the championship match, stop adding people. For crying out loud. It's ridiculous. It really is. And it shows how much the authority is trying to have authority, but they're kind of being lax with it. I'm like, okay, y'all make up your mind what you're going to do. But besides all that, I will say, even though the main event was kind of subpar at best, well, actually, no, the main event was actually pretty good. People like coming back and forth, doing their moves and just popping right and left. And it was pretty fast paced, and I enjoyed it. But you kind of predicted the ending, though. You kind of knew the face was going to win because the heels couldn't get it together. You can kind of tell. It was kind of predictable. But either or, the faces win. So that's why I say it's subpar, because it was predictable. But the overall in-ring work was awesome. I enjoyed it. I really did. There wasn't a moment I was bored. But there were a few moments that I was a little bit confused about. Number one, why on earth was Big E Langston speaking like a preacher? Like, he sounded like a southern preacher in the ring, just talking about, we are American, and we all should listen to America. Well, something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not really great at all that. But either or, it made no sense, and it was weird. It really was really weird. And it's even weirder to have Lana out there talking about Russia when she's from Florida. I'm sorry, that bothers me. There is no Russian in her blood. I mean, well, I don't really know if there's not any Russian in her blood, but I know that this chick's from Florida. She's from freaking St. Petersburg. I think. And if she is from St. Petersburg, Florida, that'd be even weirder. But either or, she lives in Florida, and she's from Florida, and I just find it weird that she has a Russian gimmick. I can let the whole Rusev thing go, even though I think the whole Russian gimmick is overrated. The fact is that she's playing well with the fans, so blah. Let's move on from there. And you got a feud between Rusev and Big E, which is two big behemoths going at it, and that makes me happy. So I can't deny that. But y'all, my overall thoughts of Raw is this. I enjoyed the ever loving crap out of it, especially Vicky's goodbye. If it is her goodbye or if it's her hiatus, I don't know. But that little moment, that moment that she had when she went out on top, and also she had came out with Eddie Guerrero's music. How touching is that? And for a lot of Eddie Guerrero fans, I know that they were so happy to hear like the old school Latino heat, Viva la Raza, and it's been so long since we heard that, and I know that had to hurt her. I mean, I know that had to be hard for her to hear her husband's old music. But either or, she went out with a bang. That was my highlight of the night, and I enjoyed it. Despite those little hiccups that kind of bothered me a bit, it didn't ruin my show. Seriously, it didn't ruin anything for Raw for me. Like, it didn't ruin anything for me at all watching Raw. So I really want to hear what y'all thought about it. Like, as you can see, I'm tongue tied of how crunk I was watching Raw tonight. I wasn't even sleepy. That's rare. But y'all, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think about Raw? What did you think about the 1100th episode of Raw in DC tonight? Leave a comment in the comment section below and send me a video response on how you feel about Raw. And if you thought it was bad, what would you change about it? Y'all let me know. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out, y'all. Later.